Night baseball in Wrigleyville for the final time here in 2013. The Cubs will wrap up their home schedule tomorrow afternoon. It's game 2 of a 3-game series against the playoff-bound Pittsburgh Pirates. Hi again, everyone. Along with Jim Deshaies, I'm Len Casper. Should be a pitcher's night. The wind is blowing in. The Pirates clinched a playoff spot. So they still have a lot to play for here over the next 5 games. But let's take a look at some of the highlights of one of the more thrilling games we've seen this season.
Well, in this game playing out like so many games between these two clubs. Low run, well pitched, well played games. The Cubs rally late off Mark Melancon. And Bogusevic crosses home plate. And then in the 9th inning, Starlin Marte, for the second time this year, delivers a go-ahead home run off of Kevin Gregg. Cubs have a chance, though, to tie it in the bottom half of the inning. Check out this play. Justin Morneau drifting into the middle of the infield, has to elude the mound to get that relay and then throw home to get Schierholtz, and that's how the ball game ends.
2-1 the final, and about 20 minutes after that final play at home plate, the Pirates found out they're in because the Nationals were eliminated with a loss in St. Louis. There are a few ways to do this. The Pirates decided to celebrate in the clubhouse because it had been so long. Obviously, their fans are excited. They still have a chance to win the division, but they're going to have to win a bunch of games here this final week.
Yeah, and they play the final weekend against the Cincinnati Reds. The Cardinals seem to have the easiest path to the division title, but the Pirates really want to make sure they get that wild card playing game in their own ballpark.
Garrett Cole, the fireballing rookie for the Pirates and for the Cubs. It'll be left-hander Chris Russin wrapping up what's been a really good season for him. We'll have game 2 of this series coming up next.
Indiana Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. BMO Harris Bank, helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank, NA member FDIC. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Pirates and Cubs. Game 2 of 3 before the Cubs head to St. Louis to wrap up the regular season. And our military recognition tonight, Sergeant First Class Dwayne McGowan, native of Bloomington, Illinois, senior instructor trainer for the Transportation Corps. And nearly a 3-decade military career. Has participated in Operations Desert Storm, Iraqi Freedom, and Enduring Freedom. Served as acting company first sergeant in Iraq. Left-hander Chris Russin facing right-hander Garrett Cole. This will be Russin's final start of the season. Let's check in on the Pirates Southwest starting lineup. They clinched a playoff berth, their first since 1992. Marte with the game-winning home run. He's going to play left tonight. Jordy Mercer at short. Andrew McCutchen, the center fielder. Marlon Byrd, the former Cub, will clean up. Gabby Sanchez at first. Russell Martin, the catcher. He made the big tag to end the game. Pedro Alvarez at third. Josh Harrison in for Neil Walker tonight with Cole batting ninth.
And we'll take a look at the Cubs defensively, and you'll see Brian Bogusevic in center field. That's the 9th time he's been the center fielder this year. Typically he's in left when he's in the lineup. He's got Lake on one side, Sherholtz on the other. Infield of Murphy, Castro, Logan Watkins making his 4th start. He's the second baseman tonight. Anthony Rizzo has started at first base more than anybody in the National League except for Joey Votto, and he's only committed 5 errors all year long. Gianner Navarro is behind the plate tonight, and on the bump, the Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs, 26-year-old left-hander Chris Russin. He's 2-5 with a 3.52 ERA. Winless so far this year here at Wrigley, 0-2 with a 4.26. 2 starts ago, he worked against this Pirate club and pitched really well. Suffered a loss, but allowed just 2 runs on 4 hits in 7 innings.
Umpires tonight, Scott Barry will get the plate. Alfonso Marquez, the crew chief Ted Barrett, and Mike DeMiro, first to third respectively. So here we go. Russin to Marte, and on the outside corner for a strike. Marte has hit .350 in his short career here at Wrigley. Last time the Pirates were here, 3-game series, he had 6 hits, 4 steals. A big game-tying home run off Kevin Gregg in the 9th on July 7th. The Cubs would win in extras. Last night he hit the game winner off the Cubs closer. Fouled back. Fairly stiff breeze blowing straight in tonight as we get started. 14 miles an hour. Called strike 3.
Must have been guessing ball. Good start for Chris Russin. Right there for Marte, but he could not pull the trigger. Russin, a finesse pitcher. Low average in terms of velocity, but he has good movement on a sinking fastball. He'll also cut it in on the right-handed hitters. Slider, curve, change. Give you a lot of different looks. Pirates celebrating for sure last night after clinching this playoff spot, but they've got work to do. So I'm sure Clint Hurdle delivered that message. Boys, have fun, but we got a ball game to play tomorrow. Make sure you're ready to play. Pirates, they're like the Susan Lucci of baseball. They finally won their Emmy.
Now they're trying to make sure that it's not just 1 and out, because at the moment they're in that 1-game round early next week. It will be against the Cincinnati Reds unless they find a way to pass the Cardinals. They're 8-8 against Cincinnati, so it could just come down to which team wins that series. Ends up being the home team. They also did beat the Cardinals 10 out of 19, so they would hold the tiebreaker there. 3-2 hit on the ground. Castro will scoop it up behind second. Strong throw to Rizzo. 2 down.
A pretty play by Castro on Mercer, who came into this game batting .413 against left-handed pitching. Starlin gliding to his left, gobbles it up.
So 2 outs, and it's Andrew McCutchen. Snapped an 0 for 13 with a 1 for 3 last night. and looks at a strike. And together a potential MVP campaign. He's got a career high 38 doubles.
He's also hitting .400 against lefties.
Fly ball to right, fairly deep, but Scherholtz is there right on the edge of the warning track, and a quick 1, 2, 3. Top of the first for Chris Russin. Garrett Cole against the Cubs offense when we return. '50-loss season here at Wrigley Field. They will finish with more victories on the road. Here's their Southwest starting lineup. Castro, Lake, and Rizzo go 1, 2, and 3. Navarro cleans up. He's been great against lefties. Nate Scherholtz doesn't start much, or rather against a righty. Navarro will bat left-handed. Nate Scherholtz in right. Donnie Murphy gets a rare start against the righty with Valbuena back now. Brian Bogusevic is in center. Logan Watkins, as second baseman, hits 8th. And Chris Russin, 9th.
And we'll take a look at the Pirates now. Speed in the outfield for sure with Marte, McCutchen, and Marlin. We'll call them the M's out there. Left, center, and right. Alvarez, Mercer, Harrison, Sanchez. A little different look on the infield tonight with Sanchez and Harrison getting starts. Russell Martin, sturdy as a rock for the Pirates behind the plate this year. Their Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is 23-year-old right-hander Garrett Cole. 18 starts since being recalled from the minor leagues, 9-7 with a .323, and he's been really good lately. 3-0 with a .138 in September.
And a first pitch strike to Castro. Well, you're right. Cole has pitched his best in the biggest month here in his rookie campaign. A pop-up, shallow right, Harrison out, and he makes the catch.
Yeah, and you can't discount experience, but sometimes you can overrate it for sure. And this guy looks like he does not shrink from the big moment. You know, they had that losing streak a while back and went down to Texas to play a 4-game series, and everybody was expecting the Pirates to, well, I shouldn't say they were expecting, but people were watching to see how they would respond. And he outdueled Yu Darvish down in the heat in Arlington, beat the Rangers 1-0. Got things turned around back in the right direction for the Pirates.
Junior Lake, last time he started was Sunday and had a rough day. 0 for 4, struck out all 4 times. He began his big league career with a bang, 15 hits in his first 7 games. I talked to their general manager Neil Huntington about any sort of innings limit, and the Pirates not only have looked at Cole's innings, but his actual amount of pitches this season. And Huntington said he's been pretty efficient, and they feel pretty confident that they will not have to shut him down no matter how deep into October they go. He said, some people have compared him to Steven Strasburg, but the The difference is he's not coming off Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, it's
apples and oranges.
For me, it's a completely different story.
The dirt, full count 3-2. So Cole starting tonight with 179 and a third innings combined, minors and majors. 135 last year, including the Futures game and a couple of innings in the playoffs. First overall pick in the 2011 draft. So he was pitching in instructional league ball 2 autumns ago. He's going to be pitching for a playoff team this year. Nice play by Alvarez, 2 outs.
I'm looking at his game log here, and he's only gone more than 100 pitches twice. 2 starts ago against the Cubs, he threw 101 pitches. And then back on August 2nd, 102 pitches. So he's had a bunch of outings for 89, 90. They really haven't extended him in many of those starts.
Pirates overshifting, something they do about as much as anybody in baseball, as Rizzo fouls off.
Now this is Pedro Alvarez, the third baseman, who was way over on the right side of the infield, making that running play on Rizzo.
Now there was a really interesting article recently in the Pittsburgh Tribune Review about kind of the timeline of how the Pirates began shifting in their organization and how they really ratcheted it up this year. It all kind of started in 2008. They hired data expert Dan Fox, who had worked for Baseball Prospectus. So they started shifting a lot in the minors and found great success converting balls in play into outs. There was one last night.
Yeah, so that, you know, this time a different situation. 9th inning, they've got Alvarez over there guarding the line for fear of a little squibber extra base hit, and he was right there to.
Yeah.
And there was left-handed pitcher on the mound too, so it wasn't the 9th. It wasn't the 9th. Yeah, Watson started the 9th, and then they relieved Watson with Grilly, but Tony Watson, the lefty, was in there. So they didn't have the strong pull shift on, at least in the sense that they didn't have Alvarez over there on the right side of the infield.
Yeah, after they kept finding that their minor league teams were having a lot of success with the shifting, that it eventually transferred to the big leagues. And Clint Hurdle, a big reason why he bought in. He admits, look, when you start reading this stuff and look at the numbers, the facts just don't lie. And it goes hand in hand with their pitching staff. They have encouraged their pitchers to use the 2-seam fastball. So they get a lot of ground balls, which plays right into the shifting. Way inside on Rizzo.
In Cole, they got a guy with a power arm who could certainly get you to swing and miss with a mid-90s fastball. But he too has gotten a fair number of ground ball outs.
Didn't need the shift that time as Cole strikes out Rizzo. So both pitchers with a 1-2-3 opening inning.
one last time. Tomorrow's the final home game of the 2013 season. Cubs Pirates get after it at 1:20. Tickets are still available through Cubs.com. They're ordering right now.
Marlon Byrd into the playoffs for the first time. 12th year in the majors. And ball one. Just talking with Jeff Samardzija about the 08 playoff team. And we commented on this when the Marlins were here. Montpierre, part of the 03 champions, has not returned to the playoffs since. When you're in the middle of something like the Pirates are going through, as Byrd rolls one into center, there's a natural inclination to feel a bit invincible and that you're going to be good for a long time. But as we know, things change quickly and it can be very fleeting.
Yeah.
So you really need to enjoy it while it's here.
Yeah. You just don't know. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. It happened to me in 1886, my first full year in Houston. We won the division and we got beat by the Mets in that thrilling series, and it was very disappointing. A lot of heartache, but you think, it's all right. We'll be back. Nope. Never went back.
And the team you think of in that regard right now is the Nationals. They did shut down Strasburg. They could not get out of the division round. They were, if not the prohibitive favorites, they were definitely most people's favorite to win the National League East, and they got eliminated from any sort of postseason contention last night. Gabby Sanchez getting the start against the lefty. 1 ball, 1 strike. Inside that time from Russin. Russin, a Michigan native, went to the University of Kentucky. Cubs grabbed him in the 4th round in the 09 draft.
Best games, he gets a lot of ground ball outs. Sinker down and away to the right-handed hitters. He'll throw that changeup from the same slot.
One on, nobody out. Early on, we're in the 2nd. Pirates celebrating last night, but they'll continue to scoreboard watch the rest of this series for sure. And then into the weekend, most likely, when the Cubs head to St. Louis. And they'll be in Cincy. Now Russin in some trouble here. 2 on for Russell Martin.
Early in Cincinnati, the Mets have a 4-1 lead over Cincinnati. It's the bottom of the 3rd.
The Pirates have been in 1st or 2nd every day since June 21st, so they have not trailed the Reds at all in the 2nd half. Martin swings at the first pitch and sends it to deep right center. Bogusevic with a nice running catch on the track. The lead man Byrd will tag and head to 3rd. Sanchez back to 1st. So that's the first out. Now Pedro Alvarez, only left-handed hitter in their lineup, and he's batting 7th.
How many teams playing Major League Baseball tonight have their RBI leader batting in the 7th spot? Alvarez has struggled against lefties, so it makes sense to slide him down a spot or 2. And earlier in the year, he was hitting cleanup, not as much anymore. Morneau's taken over that job. Tonight it's Bird.
$2-0 to Alvarez.
$178 against Southpaws with 3 of his 34 home runs.
Alvarez still a shot at winning the home run title in the NL. He trails Paul Goldschmidt by 1. He drives that ball out in the deep right. And it's going to land in the ivy, and Nate Scherholz just puts up his arms. So that'll save a run as they'll make sure that ball is actually lost. Sanchez will score for good measure, but Bird for sure will be allowed to score, and I think Sanchez will be sent back to third. Alfonso Marquez confirming.
Despite those numbers, Alvarez is able to put a good swing on the left-hander here and yank this ball almost for a home run. Into the ivy it goes and disappears on Scherholz. Find a Pro V1 in there, Nate. It's mine.
You really want to admit you've been hitting golf balls here at Wrigley? Infield in, a base open, and the pitcher is on deck. 1-0 Pirates, and it's Josh Harrison.
I think there are 2 outs. You're going to be very careful here with Harrison, but just 1 out in the inning, so you got to get 2 outs. So I think 8-9 you'd prefer to go after as opposed to 9-1.
Harrison, a 6th-round pick of the Cubs and sent to the Pirates in 2009 in the Tom Gorzolani, John Grabo deal.
And Harrison, another guy who's wearing out left-handed pitching. Not a lot of at-bats, 38 ABs, but hitting .368. I guess you can't call him every day because he's not in there today, but the frontline second baseman Neil Walker, a switch hitter who's been a lot better from the left side of the plate.
Ground ball to third, runners will hold. Murphy throws to first, 2 down.
All right, big out there. Now don't mentally check out. Sometimes in a situation like this, you get that 8-hole hitter. You feel like you've dodged the bullet because you have the opposing pitcher coming up, and you kind of mentally put yourself in the dugout. Can't afford to do that. This guy can handle the bat a little bit.
Pitch to the pitcher, Cole. He took a pretty vicious hack and fouled it off.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't get lazy in this situation. Go ahead and make pitches. Don't just give in and throw them a cookie.
That's a base hit, and it's going to drive in 2. Sanchez and Alvarez in. Garrett Cole came in with 3 RBIs. He just added 2 to make it 3-0.
And the way Cole's been throwing the ball lately, big uphill climb now for the Cubs. And Cole this time stays back on that changeup. That's pretty legit right there. Watch the front side get down, but the hands stay back. And rifles that line drive single into left field. And was treating him like a hitter, threw him that change up there. Cole doing a nice job.
Marte with a foul at the feet of Deanna Navarro. side, 1-2. Fourth start for Russin against the Pirates. 1-1 with a 265 coming in. He's already given up 3.
Better games a couple of starts ago in Pittsburgh. Very efficient, didn't walk anybody.
Bounce to third. Nice play on the short hop by Murphy to end the inning. 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 coming off the bat of the pitcher Cole, and it's 3-zip Pirates. Kenzie is retiring after 10 years of service here at Wrigley Field. The Media and Associates Gate. Good guy, Mac. Don't be a stranger. Hopefully whoever takes over for him will let him in. He wants to come back to the ballpark.
You just need to know the secret handshake.
Yep, you need to know people, Mac. Pirates leading 3-0. Won 11 of the first 17 in this season series.
And down the stretch they come. Wait for it. There you go. Sox are in. A's are in. Braves, Dodgers, Cardinals, Pirates, and Reds all in. We're not sure exactly where. Tigers have the Central. A lot of drama remaining in the American League wild card. Cleveland a game better than the Rangers. Detroit has not yet secured that Central crown, but pretty comfortable. 4.5 game lead over Cleveland. You see the magic number there of 2.
Detroit lost in 11 in Minnesota, 4-3 last night. Here's Navarro, the switch hitting catcher, taking ball 1. Now the American League wild card, JD alluded to.
Rays and Indians right now would be in. Indians tied with the White Sox 1-1 after 5. Ubaldo Jimenez pitching well again. Man, what a nice bounce back year he's having. Rangers trail the Astros 1-0, bottom of the 2nd.
Drilled out into right for a base hit. He just keeps on hitting. That's how the Pirates' second began, with the cleanup hitter picking up a leadoff single. See if the Cubs can replicate it.
He likes to hunt fastballs, and that's what he got, a two-seamer up a little bit. Whacks it into right for a leadoff knock.
Swinging strike on Nate Scherholz. Short lead by Navarro. The pitch. Another base hit. This one out into left center. Navarro's going to stop at second. Scherholz though took off for second. He thought Deanna was going to head to third. And he's out. I was watching Navarro the whole way, and he gave no indication that he was going to head to third. But obviously Nate didn't know that.
Deanna is obviously not fast to begin with, and he's had some leg injury problems, including last night. He kind of gimped off the field after a slide at second base. You know, when you hit this ball at Scherholz, you're thinking that's a double. You're thinking that Navarro's probably going to go to third base, but you got to be sure.
Tough night at the end for Scherholz. Tagged out at the plate to end the ball game, and runs into an out this time. Murphy fouls out of play down the right field line.
You know, I don't know if it would have been possible, but at some point in that scenario, if Navarro would have said, all right, he's coming, I'm going to take off, and if nothing else, you've got Scherholz at second with one out as opposed to Navarro at second, so you have the upgrade in speed.
I think Deanna was thinking, if I run and they tag Nate, they might
get me
out
before I can get there, yeah.
Let's cut our losses. Well, he's not fast to begin with, and he's been battling some sore ankles. Oh, 0-2 on Murphy. Ground ball base hit. Navarro to third. He's going to stop there. 3 consecutive hits.
Nothing cheap about any one of them. All good, solid line drive singles.
This is the kind of scenario in which some people say Deanna Navarro's a base clogger, but I don't buy it. He got on base. I'm not going to put that last one on him either. You know, he's not fast. We know that. He's slow.
Well, yeah,
it happens.
Yeah,
he's a catcher.
He is, in a sense, so he is kind of a base clogger, but that's
a
who
pejorative term, though, that I don't know.
He's a station-to-station base runner.
That's fair. Sounds like would Adam Dunn has been called that. You know, Jim Thome was. Paul Konerko, I guess. Would you rather have a catcher hitting over 300 and is slow on the bases, or a real speedy catcher who can't hit?
Yeah, 220, who quote unquote runs well for a catcher.
Swing and a miss by Bogusevic. 1-1. AT&T U-verse Multiview.
I don't know if it'll happen after this game, but sometime in the next few days, I'm sure Nate's going to have a conversation. Man, I looked up, dude, and there you were. Thought for sure you'd be over there. And Deanna say, Have you not seen me play all year? Do you not know who I am and realize I'm banged up here? Give me a break.
Ground ball right to short. Hello, shifting. We just talked about it. Bogusevic rolled it right to Mercer, and the Cubs get 3 straight hits and cannot score. 3-0 Pirates. Stormies in Northfield, and watch Chicago take on their rival Redbirds. It's a Coors Light Northside baseball viewing party with great drink specials, prizes, and more. Come to Stormies in Northfield Friday night at 7. What a chance for the Cubs. 3 hits in that last half inning and could not get a run. Big double play ball for the starter Cole to get out of it. Mercer, McCutchen, and Bird for the Pirates.
And that article you referenced about the shifting that the Pirates do pointed out that they lead the league in ground ball rate from their pitchers. Last night, Charlie Morton, his sinker, he can be an extreme ground ball pitcher. That's all part of the plan. I don't know that the Cubs emphasize the two-seamer or the sinking fastball that much, but they do as much shifting as anybody.
Backdoor curveball for a strike. 0-2 to Mercer.
For me, if I'm out scouting high school and college players, that I'm looking for that power arm who can sink the ball as well. That's the guy I want, because that style of pitching is also more efficient, and you can get through more innings with fewer pitches, save the bullpen. The power guys who rely on four-seam fastballs, curveballs, I mean, they're great. You know, there's nothing wrong with having them, but that style of pitching tends to run up the pitch count. A lot of foul balls, a lot of strikeouts, a lot of deep counts.
Well, last night, Charlie Morton was at his best. He had his sinker working all night. Fouled back again. of a sudden he's run it full after an 0-2 start. Pretty well hit out into deep left center, and it's going to go. Jordy Mercer with his 7th, and it's 4-0. He got no help from the wind, that's for sure.
Talked last time Mercer was up about his numbers against left-handers, and he jumps on this one. His 7th, and the focus will be on the home run pitch, but I'm sure Chris Russell will tell you he let him off the hook by letting him back in the count after being up 0-2 on him.
CHN flied to right his first time up. Shatters his bat as the ball is rolled to Murphy. The barrel of the bat ended up right near the shortstop position.
CHN was focusing on that bat flying through the infield and really didn't run down the line. I don't know where the ball was, but you talk about sawing a man off.
Early action in the bullpen. Brooks Raley. Just don't want to let this one get out of hand. You mentioned how good Cole has been. Already now 4-0. We're only in the 3rd inning. Rockets one foul off the fence right in front of the Cubs dugout. Another broken bat, and this time the ball kicks into left off Murphy and past Castro. Wow.
He gets first McCutchen and now Bird. Murphy gets it cleanly. He's got a shot at getting to his feet and throwing out Bird, but obviously that did not happen. That'll probably go as a base hit.
Well, in this inning, Russin has been a ground ball and a fly bat pitcher.
This is bad fortune there. Shatter a man's bat and he gets a knock.
Another ball hit hard, this time into the left field corner by Gabby Sanchez. Bird hustling to third. Sanchez has a double. Brought out the heavy lumber here tonight.
Staying up about belt high for Sanchez. Another guy who's done a lot of good work against left-handed pitching. And one out in the inning, 2 in scoring position. kind of lineup where if you had a right-handed long man available, you might make that move with all the right-hand bats in the lineup. But I think this in September with so many pitchers available, it's not that big of an issue. You can pinch hit every time your pitcher spot comes up and play 17 innings before you're worried about running out of pitching.
Mr. Strode out there in the bullpen talking with Raley, and here comes Dale. That's it. Tough way to end it for Russin in his final start of the season. His last two, he went 4 against Milwaukee and did not get out of the third tonight. An early Honda call to the pen. We'll be back. And an early one at that in the third. Left-hander Brooks Raley for Russin.
8th appearance for Raley, all out of the bullpen. No wins, no losses, a 5.79 ERA. 9 1/3 innings of work after an 8-10 season with a 4.46 ERA down at AAA Iowa. 27 games there, 25 starts. A cup of coffee with the Cubs last year. Raley, like Russin, a finesse left-hander. Eyes on location and movement.
Infield in. Second and third. And Martin takes ball one. Not quite sure why Russell Martin decided to hurl the ball toward the left field bleachers after the final out was recorded last night, but he did, and he almost got it there. Ended on the warning track. This just had the adrenaline going.
Yeah, just pumped up. Souvenir somebody in Pittsburgh might want to get their hands on, though.
The last time they were in the playoffs, they lost to the Braves in that dramatic Game 7. 3 Cubs in the area, nobody can get it. Sid Bream beat the throw by Barry Bonds, but this time they got their man last night, and they're headed back to the playoffs. And the connection here, Jay Bell is their hitting coach. Last night had to be a particularly special night for him. kick in the 1-2 and a big strikeout. Nope. Foul ball. Did Martin get a piece of it? Well, Dale's going to ask.
Yeah, and Scott Berry said the ball hit the dirt, and Navarro said no, it did not.
No.
I think so. Look clean.
In Berry's defense, how can he see it? But also, the other question is, how can he be so emphatic with the call if he can't really see it?
And normally the umpires will tell you, I got to call what I saw. And Berry this time is probably saying, I got to call what I heard. And I thought I heard her hit the dirt.
Well,
and Dale said, how about you get some help? I'm guessing that's Dale's bigger issue, that he won't ask any of the other umpires if they had a better look.
And he will now. I think Dale said pretty please.
Maybe he put a cherry on top.
The answer, I don't think.
He said nobody definitively saw anything different.
Well, we did. Right in the mitt. And you're right, he's going not only by sound, but that's the glove, not the ball. So another 1-2. Outside.
Good try, trying to jam him. A little weak ground ball to the left side of the infield. He's got a base open here. Alvarez, big sluggers on deck, but don't want to give in to Martin. You can set up the double play. Martin, a good patient approach at the plate throughout his career. That's always tested in these situations, though. There's a couple RBIs sitting out there. Hitters, they get paid to drive in runs.
This time, he got him.
Nice job. Nice execution. Good pitch calling by Navarro. Had that base open. Didn't have to give in. Looking to do some heroics. Taking a big hack at the breaking ball and coming up empty.
Everybody back. Cubs have shifted, maybe not quite as drastically as they normally would, with runners at second and third. Caught the outside.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right? For David Bell's the guy in charge of doing all these shifts, and they look at a lot of video and they have all the advanced reports, and he'll put his game plan together in advance of his series. So not only do you have to look at the hitter's tendencies, you got to know who's on the mound for, and then the base out situation. Can we afford to put that extra guy on one side of the infield or not? all the different various scenarios, because for everything you take away, you give something else up.
Alvarez wouldn't bite. 2-2. Good cut at that pitch. Guy who's going to cut down on his 2-strike swing. Him a threat to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Also makes him very vulnerable to the strikeout. Foul tip, strike 3. Good job by Raley. Came on with second and third and 1 out. Struck out Martin twice and Alvarez once.
Wrigley's 100-year anniversary by buying a limited edition Chicago Cubs Christopher Radko glass ornament. Ornaments, $55, and all proceeds will benefit Chicago Cubs charities. Visit Cubs.com/ornament for more information.
It's now 4-0 Pirates.
Nachos aren't quite as cheesy when the home team's losing. Beer's not quite as cold. Might not be the beverage of choice tonight. Chilly here in the ballpark.
Rare start for Watkins. Getting some very valuable experience, however, with the big league club. He said, I'm just trying not to get in anybody's way. Just be seen but not heard. That's the mantra for most rookies.
Yeah, Yasiel Puig really believes in that.
There's a base hit by Watkins. Logan said, I've spent most of my time watching Darwin Barney. So, you know, I talk to guys, but he has learned a lot simply by watching how Darwin goes about his business.
So much value for a young player just coming to the big leagues. It can be very intimidating. if it's guys you've played with a little bit in the minor leagues or guys you spend time with in spring training, when you're up here on this stage, it just has a little different feel.
He also said in Milwaukee when he got his last start, he looked up on the big scoreboard there and saw that the starting pitcher Jake Arrieta had a higher batting average, and he thought that can't happen. So he went out and went 3 for 4. Raley gets down the bunt. Will go 1 to 4 on a sacrifice.
Raley came in, did a nice job on the mound, now executes a nice sacrifice bunt. For the Cubs to get on the board here. Maybe the longest underhand toss I've ever seen a pitcher use to throw the ball to first base, but it worked. That's the big challenge for a rookie. When you first come to the big leagues, you don't want to be perceived as brash or obnoxious, or certainly not like you've got it all figured out. That's the cardinal sin for a rookie, to come up here and act like you've got it all figured out. That'll draw the ire of the veteran players. But you don't want to, you can't be intimidated. You can't be afraid either. You have to attack the game, play the game hard, not shy away.
Oh, under the glove. Here comes Watkins, and the Cubs are on the board. Mercer couldn't handle it. And it's 4-1. And it's an RBI single for Castro.
3-hopper up the middle that Mercer should have gloved. You can't really argue with the ruling, because it would have been a difficult play to get Castro, but if you at least knock it down, you're going to save a run. So that might not be an error, but it certainly is a misplay.
Fifth hit for the Cubs the last 2 innings. They've all been singles. Junior Lake, fastball at 95 for a strike. Garrett Cole, the first overall pick out of UCLA, 2011. Southern California native. Pirates' #1 prospect each of the last 2 years, according to Baseball America. As you said, experience counts for a lot, but when you have the stuff and the moxie Cole has, he's going to be pitching in bigger and bigger games as the next couple of weeks transpire. Right back to him. 1-6-3. They get the speedy Lake on the double play. Cubs settle for 1. And at the end of 3, it's the Pirates 4 and the Cubs 1. Cool Ranch Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. Liv Moss. The Menards grounds crew dragging the infield and getting ready to sing the stretch tomorrow from the field. Final home game of the season. A 1:20 first pitch. Raley continues facing Harrison, Cole, and Marte. Ball one outside. Chris Russin's ERA up to 3.93 after giving up 4 runs in 2 1/3. Started at 3.52. Suppose it's possible he could get a relief inning or two over the weekend, but if not, that's it for him for 2013. Chang Yong Lim, the right-hander, is up in the Cubs bullpen. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
Wow. What a job by Raley.
3 batters, 3 Ks. Yeah. Or 4. The Ks of Martin. Cole with the biggest hit of this game, a 2-run single with 2 outs in the second. Nice swing, doesn't he? The pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
A little late that time. He does not look uncomfortable. Raley trying to put him away here. Raley, a 6th round pick in 09, same draft as Russin, who went 2 rounds before him. Texas native, went to A&M. Outside, 3-2. Check that, 2-2. On Cole.
There's been an emphasis on crafty left-handers that year. Very similar approaches, Russin and Raley.
This time he got him. 4 straight strikeouts for the lefty since coming in.
It's really hard to do much better than that. You might as well go for 5. Cole put up a fight, but at the end of the day, Raley wins the battle.
Another broken bat, and this will be a base hit.
But you're going to have to reload before they head to Cincinnati. those bats have been soaked in champagne or something. I'm just starting to ponder what the Cub record is for consecutive strikeouts by a relief pitcher upon entering the ballgame. I'm guessing 4 has been done before, but 5 in a row.
Oh, it's a really good question.
Ooh, baby, what are we working on?
Cheese and various mustards, possibly.
Big old giant pretzel. Some carnage going on there.
At the end of the bat, soft liner dipping and caught by Nate Scherholtz to end the inning. Bailey has been very good since coming in for Russin. That, on the other hand, 4-1 Pirates. Facility will have features reminiscent of Wrigley Field with the unique Arizona feel. Fans can place a $100 refundable deposit to secure their priority seating for season tickets. The seating selection process begins this fall. For details, go to Cubs.com/Mesa. Anthony Rizzo, first pitch swinging, hits a ground ball to short. Only guy over on that side of the infield was Mercer. Tonight has been almost a clinic on the shifting.
It's also Oktoberfest.
And a clinic on Oktoberfest.
Yeah. Used to be the only shifts you saw were for big left-handed sluggers. See the third baseman off the line and the shortstop cheat over to the right side of second base.
Yeah, you never saw it for a right-handed hitter.
And you almost never saw it with anybody on base. Only just big lefty sluggers with nobody on base.
The other thing, it's not just, shifting, exaggerating one side of the field, 3 guys on one side of second base. A lot of it is just where the defensive positions are supposed to play. I guess the Pirates did a lot of research on where most balls end up being hit. And Clint Hurdle said, you know, guys have their comfort zones, but when you show them the numbers, the facts just don't lie in terms of where you should play. And we've talked about this with the Cubs. They do the same things.
Yeah, and I like the way they went about it, how they implemented it in the minor leagues so they could build up that database of information and then take it to their major league pitchers in particular, because the pitchers are the ones, if the ball goes through a spot on the field where normally a player would be, they're the ones who are going to get worked up a little bit. So they had the data to be able to say, look, we've been doing this out in the minor leagues, and here's where the ball gets hit X% of the time. And if you believe in it and you trust it, it's going to work out for us. We're going to save some runs.
A pop-up will be a quick 1-2-3 as Alvarez has it in foul ground to get Scherholz. We head to the 5th. Pirates 4, Cubs 1. Visit jeffboot.com. Nationwide is on your side. So, final home game is tomorrow afternoon. Then the Cubs head to St. Louis. Season ends on Sunday. And I know Dale talking today with the media about next year, the rotation in particular.
Yeah, Chris Russell was obviously a topic of kind of conversation here. And I think probably the one newsworthy item is that he thinks Jake Arrieta is probably in the rotation next year. I mean, obviously, you know, nothing's really set in stone now, and the Cubs are certainly going to target some arms this winter. But you look at Russin as kind of more volume, and they've liked what they've seen out of Arrieta. He's not a sure thing, but I think you see those games he put together in Milwaukee and stuff like that, that they think, you know, maybe a change of scenery, working with Chris Bosio, that he could be a difference maker for them next year.
Well, the stuff is certainly there for Arrieta. It's limiting the walks. And when he's done that, he's been terrific. It's Chang Yong Lim in the 5th.
Lim on for the 5th time, so we haven't seen much of him. Just 3 1/3 innings so far, 4 hits, a couple of walks, a couple of punch outs. Slings it up there, sidearm. Figures he'd be awfully tough on right-handed hitters. So he's a good guy to bring in against this part of the Pirate lineup.
His first pitch to McCutcheon is outside for a ball. Patrick, is it too early to ask Dale who the opening day starter is next year?
Well, I think I think he actually has been asked that, like in August or something, when Travis Wood was kind of going, well, we're kind of running out of things to ask him, and that's always something fun in spring training to annoy the manager about.
The opening day starter watch.
It'll be against the Pirates in Pittsburgh. 2-0 with Bird on deck. That is a strike. It's 2-1. Kind of strange. The Braves clinch here on Sunday. The Pirates clinch a playoff spot last night. We don't know when the Cardinals will clinch. They're in the playoffs, and they're in a very good position to win the division. But it could be a strange week in that regard for the Cubs.
Yeah, and I think if you're a Cubs fan, it's kind of weird looking at this National League Central now of, the Cubs can kind of bank on all those wins, going into Pittsburgh or grabbing someone like Aramis or Ramirez, in a kind of a salary move. And you look at where the Pirates are, the Reds are, the Cardinals, they all seem to be, built to last, and that, they're not kind of going anywhere anytime soon.
So you're going to have to go get him as opposed to them coming back to you, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it's fun. When we'd go back with Aramis, he'd get booed 7 or 8 years later, as if he was the one who called the shot, of getting traded. And now you see the Pirates kind of adding, their payrolls bounced up. You guys saw what PNC Park was like, whatever it was last weekend. And I think this is a team that, the Cubs are going to have to deal with for years to come now.
Would certainly think the Reds and Cardinals would be in that category as well.
Did you make predictions at the start of the year who would win each division, and do you remember, if you did, what you picked and how you've?
Fortunately, I did not, but I was definitely hyping the Washington Nationals because we went in there early and doing all those stories of looking how other teams were built and stuff like that. And yeah, really, you never know. You look at what the Washington Nationals did this year and kind of dealing with expectations and kind of playing from ahead, being the hunted team. It's totally different.
Breaking ball misses outside. Another one of the really intriguing playoff teams, the Oakland A's, winners of the West, the second consecutive year. Fourth lowest payroll on opening day in all of baseball. They play in a really bad ballpark, but they have a small but vociferous fan base. Outside, 3-0.
How about your season ending awards? Have you zeroed in on who you like for the various major awards?
I have the Rookie of the Year vote this year in the NL, so I think it's got to be Fernandez, right?
You're asking
us
us, you have the vote?
I kind of like it now.
Yeah, I would say Fernandez, having one of the best rookie seasons a pitcher's ever had. There's ball 4 to Bird. 2 on with nobody out.
It's amazing how many good young pitchers have come into the league. Wow! I was looking at some of the numbers, and I didn't look at the ages of all these guys, but most, Fernandez and Shelby Miller, Matt Harvey, of course, is banged up, but if he stays healthy. Corbin out in Arizona, Tehran we just saw with Atlanta here. These kids are all 23, 24 years old and younger. Some of them. Ryu. Oh, Fernandez is what, 20?
Yeah.
Kid in Miami. This kid here tonight, Cole's 23.
Gabby Sanchez, 2 on, no outs. He's reached both times a walk and a double and has scored once. Having trouble finding the strike zone.
Well, this were at least statistically the advantage shifts to the Cubs with Sanchez up there with Lim, the right-hander, on the mound. Sanchez a lot of good work against lefties this year, but not so much against the right-handed pitchers. 206 against righties.
Patrick, I know there was some Arizona Fall League news.
Yes, Theo said Wes Darville was added to the roster, which moves Albert Almora off the taxi squad to a point where he can play every day. And obviously after the series of injuries he dealt with this year, from that hamate bone injury in spring training to some stuff later on over playing at Kane County, and that's a huge kind of development marker for him to kind of make up for some of those at-bats he lost this year.
Spazio out to talk things over. Tay Kim, the Cubs interpreter. Another guy, we tend to bring up every now and again is Arodys Vizcaíno. Thought we might see him at this level this season. We will not, and I guess he'll throw an instructional league so the Cubs can more closely monitor his progress.
Yeah, he was kind of the centerpiece to that Paul Maholm, Reed Johnson deal with the Braves last year. And, internally the Cubs looked at him. If everything broke right, maybe he'd be sliding into the rotation after, trading someone like Matt Garza, because he was one of the best prospects in baseball. The Braves were really high on him, and his Tommy John recovery, it seems like he's kind of one of those outlier guys where it's just taken a lot longer, and obviously they're very careful with him. I think he's 21, 22 years old, something like that. So yeah, he'll be in an instructional league, and I think next year, if everything goes well, maybe they can kind of ease him in as a reliever at some point next year. But I do think, their hope deep down is that he can be, a starter for them, down the line. But it's been wait and see for a while with him.
3-1. And Sanchez, 2 on, nobody out. We're in the 5th, 4-1 Pirates.
And the little bit we have seen of Lim, he's very deliberate, takes a lot of time between pitches, really slows things down.
And he missed again, and they are loaded.
And I think when a pitcher does that, hitters tend to not swing as many pitches out of the zone. If you work quickly, even if you're not pounding the strike zone, if you work quickly and you're around the plate, guys get a little hitterish, but you're not going to get guys to chase as much when you're as deliberate as Lim is.
So here's Russell Martin. Big spot here as the Pirates already lead by 3. Are really trying to bust it open. And a first pitch strike. Last thing for you tonight, Patrick. While the season ends on Sunday, and you're going to have 10 teams who move on into the postseason, next week will be a very interesting and possibly newsy week for the Cubs, just because Theo has talked about the evaluation process of really everybody and everything they've done this year. And he also indicated, along with that, they'd like to make decisions fairly quickly after the season.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I think we're going to start getting some answers pretty soon. You talk to people kind of around the game, inside the Cubs organization. You're not really sure which way they're leaning. I think they hired Dale for a reason, to kind of see this through a little bit longer than 2 years. That's why the initial contract was for 3 years plus an option, which in this day and age is kind of a bonus year to start with. They knew kind of what was on the horizon here. But clearly, when Theo said it, he also kind of knew what would happen. He was not caught by surprise at all. How the media, ran with it. And, I do think, if a team's going to be finishing last place, you do have to kind of make hard decisions and look at the staff and really the entire organization.
Martin swings and misses, strike 3. That's the first out. Again, it's not like you announce your manager's coming back, but at some point, if that's the case, somebody will have to say it.
Yeah, I mean, we were here last year in kind of the end of season breakup news conference, and Theo and Jed were talking about Dale as someone really as kind of like a partner, someone who they thought free agents would want to play here so they could play for Dale. That in the age of texting and emails, that word gets around among players, and they really liked kind of the system he put in place. You look at what Chris Bosio's done with some of the pitchers. Everyone talks about Rizzo and Starlin, but there have been other players like a Travis Wood who have kind of made leaps in development. So I think the Cubs, it's not an easy decision either way, kind of knowing their history with Dale and where they are right now in this process.
Well, we know you will stay on top of everything, not only through the rest of this week, but beyond. Patrick, thanks for the time as always.
Thanks, guys.
Patrick Mooney, our Cubs insider. Lim in some trouble here. Bases loaded. 1 out. And a 2-0 count on a very dangerous hitter.
Yeah, this talking about being boxed into a corner. Get bases loaded 2-0. We talked earlier about Lim's delivery, how left-handed hitters must see him pretty well. That side I'm offering from the right side. So this is a very dangerous pitch.
Swing and a miss.
86, little changeup.
Lim playing Philippe Petit, the tightrope walker. You ever see that documentary?
No.
Walking
Philippe
between
Petit,
buildings and things.
No
safety net. That's what this inning kind of feels like, doesn't it?
Was it Nick Wallenda that walked across the Grand Canyon earlier this year?
The 2-1, foul back, 2-2. Three and two, full count. I'll come up with a pitch. The 3-2. Fair ball. Here's McCutchen. Behind him is Bird. Sanchez to third. It's a double for Alvarez. 6-1.
A bit of misfortune there for Lim. Certainly put himself into that position with the walks, but a little backdoor breaking ball, and I don't think Alvarez had any intention of trying to go the other way with that pitch. He's opening up. He's looking to pull something and then just able to keep the hands through the zone. That's a bit of good fortune there for Alvarez. But his second double of the night.
Neil Walker will bat for Harrison. Intentionally walking with Cole on deck. This will be the third walk of the inning.
Just not the final week of the season, and the Pirates aren't in this tight battle with the Cardinals and the Reds. I don't know that Hurdle uses Walker in that situation with what appears to be a comfortable lead, but you take nothing for granted at this stage of the season if you're the Pittsburgh Pirates. So we're trying to run down the Cardinals and best the Reds, too. If they don't get the Cardinals, certainly worthwhile to be the second place team because they would host that wild card play-in game. Reds trailed the Mets 4-2 late. Cardinals up 2-0 over the Nationals. Bottom of the sixth in St. Louis.
Michael Wacha not giving up a hit. He hasn't a lot of hit or a walk. There was a Matt Carpenter error. Keep an eye on that.
Real challenge for the position players to kind of stay focused in an inning like this.
Our Xfinity high-speed action. Again, the swing of the night early on was Garrett Cole's two-run single off the starter Russin. It made it 3-0 in the second.
Stayed back on a breaking ball. Good at bats tonight. That two-run single, and he struck out in the fourth, but hung in there and battled.
Swung on and missed. Strike three. 2 outs.
Double switch. And Swinney going to enter the ball game. We got Blake Parker.
Blake Parker. And Ryan Sweeney. Honda call to the pen, 6-1 Pirates. We'll be right back. under call to the pen. It's on Blake Parker.
Well, Parker having a nice year. 1-2 with a 272. 47th time he's come on here for the Cubs. He'll change the pace. He works quickly and usually attacks the strike zone.
Base is still loaded, and it's Starling Marte, a big cut and a miss. Nine hits for the Pirates. 4 more base runners due to walks. A lot of traffic. Only in the 5th inning. One and two. And a foul tip, strike 3. So Parker gets out of the inning, but they got a couple off limb, and it's now 6-1.
Queso love to the Chicagoland area. Opt into Qdoba's mobile club by texting Q to 50500 to receive free chips and queso. Feels like the Pirates have had more turns than the Cubs tonight.
Sure does. Walker stays in after batting for Harrison. And a strike on Donnie Murphy. 1-2 the count. Bogusevic on deck. And Watkins. Ground ball foul. Now Manny Machado with that bad leg injury yesterday against Tampa Bay. It's the left knee, but he did not tear any major ligaments. According to the AP story, he could be running in 6 to 8 weeks without surgery at an MRI earlier today. Murphy strikes out.
That's good news. Craig dealing with that injured left foot. He'll have x-rays on Thursday. Big fella, CeCe's been shut down with a hammy strain.
See Matt Holliday out of the Cardinal lineup as well for the 3rd straight game. He's dealing with back issues. So without Holliday and Craig, 2 of their middle of the order guys are still leading tonight 2-0 as they play the bottom of the 7th. Michael Wacha, 86 pitches, no hits through 7.
Yeah, we didn't mention Wacha. We were talking about all those young pitchers when we had Patrick in here. We could have spent an inning and a half talking about all the good young pitching in the game. Ooh, my, look at that breaking ball. That one changed lanes in a hurry. Didn't even signal.
Machado does have a torn ligament, by the way. The medial patellofemoral ligament. It's not one of those big Hollywood budget ligaments. That's the Indy, the Indy circuit ligament. Called strike 3, 96 and nasty.
Yeah, Cole's starting to hit his stride here. It's not been an easy night for him to pitch because his team has been at bat for extended periods of time. You'll take it because that means your team is scoring, but it's tougher to stay in rhythm. It hasn't really affected him. He's been spot on and none better than what we're seeing so far in this 5th inning.
Machado had played in every game this season before going down yesterday. So the Orioles are as happy as you could possibly be after such a bad looking injury.
Andre Ethier suffered a setback as well today. He's trying to come back from a sprained left ankle. Was out doing some running today at AT&T Park. And, still bugging him. And now they're starting to wonder about his availability for the postseason.
Strike 3, he just fanned the side. Well, tonight has kind of matched his season. Seems to be getting stronger. It has gone along 6-1 after 5. That's in one inning against Chris Russin, and then another one in the next inning. Third and the fourth, 3 busted bats, 2 ended up hits. The balls, not the bats.
Russin tonight, 2 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs allowed, so he could take some measure of consolation in knowing that he broke a couple of the Pirates' toys before he had to go home for dinner. Looking for a player of the game for the Cubs tonight. Brooks Raley, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, no runs, struck out 4.
Pitch to Mercer is right in there for a strike. 1 out of 3 with a home run. He's hit the ball hard 3 times, though. Three and 1. This is the guy you just don't want to walk. You've got McCutchen, Bird, company coming up. Fouled off, 3 and 2. Still howling in, but it has not hurt the Pirates' offense at all tonight. They had 1 quiet inning. That was the first. Went down 1, 2, 3. The Pirates dugout and back a few rows. Jeff Keppinger of the White Sox will have right shoulder surgery on Thursday. It's been bothering him all year since spring training. Better here the last couple of months. Finish at 253 on the season. The wind is going to push this one well out of play.
Yeah, for a time there, Keppinger right down near the bottom of the league. Too good of a hitter for that.
Dante Bichette, the Rockies hitting coach, wants to spend more time with his family, so he will not be back with the Rockies next season. Hard hit grounder, backhanded neatly by Donnie Murphy.
No newborn Cubs fan. The newborn fan club is the perfect gift to showcase what it means to be a Cub for life. Receive a customized photo announcing the birth on the Wrigley Field marquee, a Cubs birth certificate, Cubs baby stocking cap, and a Cubs Rookie of the Year onesie. Perfect for parents and friends alike. Visit Cubs.com for more information and to sign up today. Yeah, one and done for Dante Bichette. He's joining his old teammate Walt Weiss on the staff there in Colorado. It's a big commitment. Coaches in the game now spend more time at the ballpark maybe than ever before, and certainly more time working. You know, it used to be coaches would come to the ballpark early and they'd hang out and play some cards. Now, obviously there was some preparation to do, but the modern coach, man, these guys are grinding. They're on the charters, they're on their airplane breaking down video and scouting reports. They're at the ballpark doing the same. Hitting coaches are always being asked by the players, hey, throw me soft toss, throw me BP. Let's look at video together. What do you see?
The line for Bichette at the end of the story. Would you ever want to coach at this level again? He said, I'd be scared to try it again. It was time consuming. Yep. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Strikeout number 2 for Blake. Just never did get back to the plate. McCutchen went after it anyway.
Like to hit a fastball? Well, here you go. Here's a fastball, just not in a good spot for you. Warren Spahn's philosophy: as close to the plate and as far away from the barrel as possible. See the story on the Mariano Rivera bobbleheads at Yankee Stadium tonight?
Saw the headline late.
They were late, yeah. So the first 18,000 people who were supposed to get a bobblehead got a voucher instead. And then the truck showed up, and so they were able to distribute them during the ball game. Kind of appropriate that the closer's bobblehead would come late.
Get the final 3 outs. 1, 2, 3 go. The Buccos, who lead the Cubs 6-1. Sportsnet, the Bears linebacker, will take you inside the win over the Steelers and preview next week's matchup. And you never know who will stop by when Lance is joined by some special guests and teammates, only on the Lance Briggs Show, presented by GWC Law, tonight at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Ryan Sweeney, first at bat for him. Coming in as part of a double switch.
Cole and Russell Martin in quite a rhythm here. It's like they're throwing a side session. There just happens to be a batter standing in there. Taking almost no time between pitches. Cole not shaking off the veteran catcher. Yeah, what do you want me to throw? Okay, here we go. An elevated game of catch.
This one just shot over Alvarez, perfectly placed by Ryan Sweeney. Cubs have the leadoff man on here in the 6th. Maria Cubas, happy birthday from your husband Carlos and your daughter Natalie.
Just a little punch into shallow left for a leadoff single for Sweeney. Cubs' 6th hit tonight.
The Nationals still have 0 hits. 0 for 24 through 8. Bottom 8, 2-0 Cardinals. Michael Wacha. Base hit right field. Sweeney stops at second. Castro 2 out of 3. And the Cubs are threatening. Wacha now has walked 2, by the way. Still has not allowed a hit.
Twice tonight when the Cubs have gotten a little something going, Cole's been able to get a double play ball. Junior Lake last time up, victimized. See if he can get one in the air and drive it.
Oh, 2.
One of the things you have to like about Cole, especially for such a young guy, even with base runners here, he doesn't change his approach. Still works quickly, still attacks the strike zone. It's a good 2-strike breaking ball there. See if you can get a hitter to really expand his zone. Now it's easier to do if you have his stuff. We talk a lot about, man, this guy's aggressive. He pounds the zone. Well, you throw 97 miles an hour with good movement and a snapdragon breaking pitch, you should be aggressive. You throw 88, you got to be a little more particular.
Two and 2. That's Rizzo on deck. Chris Perez gave it up. Viciedo and De Aza with home runs in the 9th off the Indians closer. The White Sox lead 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th.
Ooh, man.
Wow. That could be a big development in the wild card race over in the AL.
The Rangers have taken a 3-2 lead on the Astros.
The kick, the 3-2, and a tapper foul. Mets are 2 outs away and beating the Reds 4-2 New York. Vic Black is on the mound. 1 on, 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Driven toward right. It's going to drop foul and hit the sidewall.
That would have scored 2, and Lake may have ended up on third base. Certainly would have had a double. A swing there on a fastball away. Well, if those scores hold, if Cleveland loses and the Rangers win, they'll be tied for that second wild card spot in the American League. Rangers really limping to the finish line here in September, but still with a very good chance. Tampa Leads the Yankees 5-0 in the bottom of the 8th at Yankee Stadium. The Rays currently hold the top wild card spot in the American League.
You know, it's funny, if the Indians lose that game, everybody will be up in arms in Cleveland, but I don't think they can really complain, because even if they lose that game, they'd be 15-3 against the White Sox. Ball 4, they're loaded with nobody out.
How about that? Nice job by the Cub hitters in this inning. And if you recall, the bottom of the 5th, Cole came out here and struck out the side, and looked like it was going to be difficult to do anything against him tonight. And boom, just like that. Little punch, dumped single in the left field by Sweeney, but solid line drive by Castro. And now Lake able to work the walk.
Is the first walk given up by Cole. And only the 3rd walk by Pirates pitching in this series. Jason Giambi, for the 2nd time this year, has hit a game-ending homer.
Oh my goodness!
Against the Chicago White Sox. 5-4 Indians, the final. 2-run homer off Addison Reed.
Harry Doyle's got to be going crazy.
And that was with 2 outs. Wow, wow, wow.
That's when you start feeling it, right? You're thinking, this is our year.
Big chance for the Cubs. They're down 5, but they have 3 on with no outs.
Cole's been good keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed 7 home runs this year.
I know what you were doing there.
Yeah.
Well, if Rizzo's going to hit a grand slam here, the best spot's probably going to be to the left of center. The wind direction. Now he's just trying to make some good contact. And a ground ball toward the hole. It's short. Little bobble. Everybody's safe. Run scores 6-2. Still nobody out. It'll be a fielder's choice and an error.
Ball got some funky spin on it. Mercer to his right to corral it. Bobbles, can't get Lake. 2nd misplay by Mercer tonight.
Here's Navarro. Comes within slam range now. The pitch. A little bit high. Boy, what a turn of events here. Garrett Cole was just cruising along until he got into the bottom of the 6th.
Muddy Oaks from Tiny Acorns. Little flare to left gets it started. I like that term, slam range. And all of a sudden, a hitter's count.
Three and 0. the play. Cole's 3-2. He got it. It's a good old country hardball, but he's from Southern California. But that's what it was. 97.
Yeah. His best fastball of the night. Sneak it by Navarro. A little foul tip. Hung on to there by Russell Martin. And again, Cole showing no signs, despite the duress here with the bases loaded. His approach has not wavered. The guy's got a lot of confidence, but mostly a lot of ability. Buena can handle velocity. This is another big challenge.
So Valbuena batting in the pitcher spot. Foul tip. 0-1.
Tough to be coming off the bench. You know, if you've seen the guy once or twice, that's one thing, but Cole off the bench to face this 97 is tough.
Wow. 0-2. 98 on our gun, 99 here in the ballpark. Call it 98.5. Good block by Martin. Never a bad block in this spot.
Walker still with that no-hitter going in the ninth.
To get Span and Zimmerman to finish it. Somebody walks. Jason Worth.
Well, in the fifth, looked like he was positioned to give Clint Hurdle at least 7 here tonight, but now at 90 pitches, a lot of work here in the sixth under pressure. This will probably be his last inning if he gets out of it.
Cole and Martin will try to get on the same page. Sign needed here after they talked about it. 2-2 called strike 3. Inside corner to get Valbuena.
Great call by Martin and great execution by Cole. You see the pitch tracks, all the work away from Luis, and then the two-seam runner that hugs the inside corner.
So with one out in the ninth in St. Louis, Michael Wacha struck out Denard Span. Then had to get Ryan Zimmerman to complete the no-hitter. Zimmerman with an infield single to break it up after 8 2/3 no-hit baseball. Deep right. Bird back on the track to end the inning. Murphy gave it a ride. Wind knocked it down. Cole limited the damage big time. He gave up only one and leads 6-2. Always a pleasure, sir. Beautiful night. Wind blowing in.
Yeah, that last ball was hit. I thought maybe it was maybe going off the wall, but just didn't happen. Those 2 strikeouts really helped Cole out, I think.
He really did. He needed.
He's pretty impressive.
He attacks the hitter. He goes right after you. So good results, unfortunately for the Cubs.
Alberto Cabrera is the new pitcher. Gabby Sanchez is the batter, and he takes a strike.
Well, Cabrera, an up and down year. He was really good as a starter at Double-A. Struggled a little bit with Triple-A out of the pen, and he just really hasn't had enough of an opportunity here at the big league level.
Fergie with the Pirates here. They're in the playoffs for the first time since 1992. Facing Roberto Clemente. How'd you try to get him out?
Roberto was a guy that wanted the ball out over the plate because he attacked the ball. I tried to keep the ball hard in on him sometimes and then go away with a slider down. But that was what he was looking for a lot of times, that ball down. And he'd hit shots to right field or shot at first base or Glenn Beckert at second. But, I mean, he didn't have a weakness a lot of times. I mean, he just knew what you were trying to do to get him out.
Leaping catch by Murphy as they get Sanchez.
I mean, he was a tough out. I mean, Roberto, he hit 300 I don't know how many times in the National League, and I mean 200 hits. So there wasn't a recipe that you really knew about getting him out, because he was a free swinger. He swung at balls that were letter high, balls that were a foot off the plate, balls that bounced. I mean, he just but if you made a bad pitch, he got you.
Those were some really good Pirates teams.
Yeah, they were called the Lumber Company even back then.
One strike on Martin. And it's been a really good baseball town for a long time. They just, even with a fairly new ballpark, they had trouble drawing just because the team wasn't very good. But Boy, that place was packed every time we were there this year. Great atmosphere.
I just think that they're going through that transition of not winning, and now they've become a better ball club. They're a younger team, and I just think that that's what the Cubs got to go through too. Rebuild, get these young players, and get them to learn how to win.
Yeah, that's the next step. And you know, a guy like Andrew McCutchen and Pedro Alvarez, they could talk about that process. They've been here through this for a few years. Talking with Neil Huntington, the general manager, before the game, really felt like the addition of this guy Martin was key. He said, look, we could have gone out and gotten a catcher who could maybe put up the offensive numbers Martin has, but the veteran leadership, he said AJ Burnett's brought a little grit to their rotation. So it's young players and then bringing in veterans with playoff experience to kind of help get them over the hump.
Yeah, that's got to help. I just think that the strength in baseball has always been up the middle. Catching, short, second, center field. And you got to have a smart catcher that knows the hitters as well as the pitching staff and the pitching coach. And I mean, good things are going to happen if the pitcher stays ahead of the hitters in the count. Don't get into the hitters' count. Stay ahead of them.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Now, JD, you know this number, right? Fergie and Greg Maddux. You know the statistical comp there. 3,000 strikeouts, under 1,000 walks. And Maddux finished with 999 walks.
Right. Yeah.
So we joked with him last time we saw him that you made sure you retired right before
you get that number 1,000.
Yeah. Well, the other two guys was it Martinez and Schilling, which I mean it's something to be proud of. You didn't walk anybody. You went out there, you threw strikes, make the hitter do part of the work, and by far, I think you're going to get good results. You know, I think you're going to probably give yourself more of an opportunity to win if you won't walk people. There's no defense for a walk, and you're told that in the minor leagues when you first sign. So stay ahead of the hitter.
Alvarez pops it up. You ready to sing, Fergie?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
Let's catch it.
On the mound, Castro with the grab. Here's Fergie.
Tonight's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Cubs Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins.
Hey, Cub fans, come on. I want to hear you sing, Cub fans. Let's go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ball. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. All right. We got to score some runs to tie this ball game up. Let's go.
For more and show us your receipts, we'll deposit $20 into your U.S. Bank checking or savings account. It's our special thank you for becoming a new credit card customer. Pretty cool. Fergie had his jersey on, and he found a young fan to give it to after the stretch. Nice touch. Justin Wilson out of the Pirates bullpen.
Yeah, so they weren't able to inflict the big blow they wanted on Cole last inning. They only managed to score one, but they made him work awfully hard, got him out of the game probably an inning sooner than Hurdle probably wanted to. That's a bit of good news. Bad news is this bullpen is really good too, including this guy here, Wilson, the left-hander. Two very hard-throwing, talented left-handers we've seen a fair bit this year, Wilson and Watson.
It's over in St. Louis, 2-0. Waka did not finish. Trevor Rosenthal got the final out for the save as Bogusevic strikes out.
Spent a winter weekend with your favorite boys of summer and helped the Cubs kick off Wrigley Field's 100th anniversary celebration in 2014 at the 29th annual Cubs Convention. Hotel packages and weekend passes are on sale now. For more information or to purchase rooms and convention passes, visit CubsConvention.com. There'll be promising rookies, Hall of Famers, all manner of Cub personnel there.
Yeah, the weekend passes went on sale today. So CubsConvention.com, as JD mentioned. Had a really good time at the new site, the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers. Perfect location, very conveniently situated in downtown. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning, January 17th through the 19th.
Yeah, right there in the dead of winter. Get your baseball on a little bit.
50 to 60 current and former Cub players and coaches expected to be on hand. Watkins could not hold up. Low and in. Wilson recently a little bit of a respite. Ready for the stretch drive.
Yeah, because there's been pretty big swings in the velocity we've seen from him. When we saw him earlier, he was 95, 97, and then it was the last time we saw him, but I know there was one outing where he was just kind of 91, 92, and he got it back up there again tonight.
Yeah, had a week off in between appearances. He's looked pretty good here against these lefties, and here's another one. Sweeney.
Wow. Right over the top, driving 97 down to the knees. Tough assignment for a left-handed hitter.
When you see this, it's weak contact here. Alvarez picks it up and he throws it away. Continue the inning. Give Sweeney a hit. He's 2 for 2.
Alvarez has made a bunch of errors this year, a lot of them throwing. This is accurate. They get him. It wasn't. They didn't. And the Cubs have a man aboard with 2 outs.
I'm just going to say, when I see Wilson, and I don't want to overstate it because this guy was one of the best closers of his era, and certainly one of the best, if not the best, left-handed closer ever. But Billy Wagner, I mean, if you've got a lefty who throws 97, and right now he's one of their setup guys, but mainly 6th and 7th with Melanson in the 8th and Grilli in the 9th. But we talk so much about developing closers. You're telling me he couldn't get the final 3 outs?
Oh, yeah. Well, he may be too valuable for that. You know, in many ways, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but managers get locked into handing the ball to the guy in the 9th inning, and that's his job, and it becomes, you know, almost rote. Okay, 9th inning, regardless of the situation, if it's a safe situation, you're pitching. And a lot of times that's a fairly easy situation. Put guys on 2nd and 3rd in the 7th inning of a 1-run game and a very dangerous left-handed bat up. You want Wilson in the game to get that left-handed hitter out, and that's probably a tougher assignment than pitching the 9th inning.
Castro chased one in the dirt. All the outs are strikeouts, and we will go to the 8th. Pirates have been in control of this one throughout. It is 6-2. The big play last night. Talked to Justin Morneau before the game tonight. He said, I was just trying not to trip over the mound. That's a really weird spot for a relay throw. But the 50-footer to Russell Martin was right on the money.
Yeah, McCutcheon out there to lend support out in right center field. Just kind of fires that ball back in the general direction. And Morneau, lined up, had to drift a little bit towards the middle of the diamond, and any kind of a funky little bounce off the mound there, and the Cubs tie the ball game.
Want to know on Neil Walker, who homered last night.
We talked about it at the end of the ball game last night. Although it did not end well for the Cubs, I think it was still the right play for David Bell to send Sherholtz there, force the Pirates to make a play. Got a chance to tie the ball game in the 9th inning. The other clubs got their closer on the mound. There's one or two this year I'm sure David would like to have back, but I think he's done a real nice job. It can be a thankless job.
Driven out into right center, but it'll be caught by Brian Bogusevic. Get real-time info, including pitcher gas gauge stats, tweets with Cubs in-game live only at csnchicago.com. It's brought to you by Comcast Business Class. Pinch hitter Garrett Jones in the pitcher's spot. Jones losing a fair amount of playing time with the acquisitions of Morneau and Bird. Those are the two positions Jones plays. First and right. And a base hit, at least one base. Blake will pick it up on the warning track. Here comes the throw, and it's going to be late. And the relay from Castro. It's a double.
Ball up a little bit for Jones. Good hustle. And now he will be lifted for a pinch runner.
A former Cub, Felix Pie. PA made appearances for the 07 division champs. Two major league stints in 08. He was the Cubs opening day center fielder, in fact. In 2008, just 43 games in the majors that year. 1-0 on Marte.
Felix was not in the big leagues last year. 85 games in 2011 with Baltimore. He was with them the two previous seasons as well. Guys, because of his athleticism, bigger things were expected of him.
Driven foul.
Really daring out there off of second base. Watkins tucked right in behind him. He's not really letting that check his lead very much.
That throw. He takes off for third.
Error charge to Cabrera. throw that Watkins just did not expect. Watkins is starting to retreat to his position. Still should have caught that ball. That's been changed to an error on Watkins.
The infield has to come in. Picks off the glove of Castro. And Marte will get the second. A little hesitation by Starlin, but then he did run hard after it, but it was way too late. 7-2 Pirates. It's a double and an RBI for Marte.
And not a lot of time to move the feet and get behind that ball with the infield drawn in, and Castro trying to field it off to the side so he'd be in a good position to make a throw home. Tough hop on the backhand side. It'll go as a double for Marte, who's hustling all the way, makes it all the way to second base. Under the category of playing the whole game, PA out there with that daring lead off of second base. Whether he was intending to steal third or not, I don't know, but clearly got Cabrera's attention. And then the pickoff throw that went awry, and all contributes to another run. And that's just a little part of the game. Take an aggressive lead.
Now looking at the replay, the hesitation on Castro's part, I just don't think he saw the ball at first. Kicked way up in the air, and then once he was able to locate it, he went after it hard. Marte runs really well and legged out a double. Travis Snyder, the pinch hitter, 3 home runs in this spot, including a grand slam against the Cubs. Pinch homer for him on Sunday versus the Reds.
Reds losers tonight to the Mets 4-2 in Cincinnati. So the Pirates, if they win this one, will move a game ahead of Cincinnati, remain 2 behind the Cardinals, who also won.
Ground ball to Castro. He's got time. 2 down. Marte at third.
Reds have already lost. Pirates with a comfortable lead here. Cardinals have 1. Pirates go to Cincinnati for the weekend. Cardinals host the Cubs.
So my head's starting to hurt. I'm trying to figure out some of the math here.
No.
Two teams who are already in for the wild card, it just should be head to head, right? First tiebreaker. That's my assumption.
Yeah, I know I looked at the website on that a while ago. Head to head and then maybe within the division.
So if the Reds are within 1 after tomorrow, and right now it would be 1 if the Pirates win tonight, it would be the same as being tied because they've got a 3-game series. Base hit, McCutchen. Marte scores. 8-2.
McCutchen, who's batting 9,000 against the Cubs, delivers another line drive hit.
I guess my point is whether you're tied or a game behind going into a final series and your season series is tied, you got to win 2 out of 3.
Oh, their season series is tied.
Yeah, so being within 1 game on either side going into that series didn't really matter. Yeah, 8-8. Reds and Pirates. 2 balls, no strikes on Marlon Byrd. Determining home field advantage in 2-team tiebreakers, head-to-head winning percentage. Number 1. High deep drive. Caught by Ryan Sweeney. Pirates add 2 to their lead. It's 8-2 in the 8th.
Include visits to the press box, clubhouses, dugouts, as well as a chance to actually step on the field. This must-see Chicago attraction houses almost 100 years of history. For game days and non-game day schedules or to book your tour, visit Cubs.com/tours. Do it today.
Brian Morris now pitching. Clint Barmas in at short after Snyder hit for Mercer. And Lake hits a high pop fly to center. And it's McCutchen to make the catch.
And Hurdle took some heat over the weekend against Cincinnati when he did not make the defensive shift with the replacement Barmas over Mercer. Mercer made a big error late, and the Pirates ultimately lost one of those games to the Reds, partly because of that miscue. Barmas considered the superior defender to Mercer. I'm guessing this would be the norm now. Barmas late inning defense if he's not the starting shortstop. Morris, an extreme ground ball pitcher. Talked about that earlier, the shifting and the emphasis on getting ground ball outs. You see that power sinker there at 94.
Swing and a miss. So if the Pirates were to catch the Cardinals, they finish the regular season tied, they would have a one-game playoff to determine the division winner, as Rizzo will roll into left. And the Pirates would host that game because they won the season series. And with a win tonight, they still would be 2 back with 4 to go.
So is there a scenario? So this gets pretty wacky.
It does.
So say this,
you could have a 3-way.
So they're tied, and the Reds are a game behind. That wouldn't affect it. Never mind. I'm just getting out over my skis a little bit. Right. Envisioning a scenario where the Pirates lost that extra game to the Cardinals,
right?
But they'd still be a half game better. Even if you counted that, they would be a half game better than Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So they would host. They would then host the play-in game because they would be that half game better than the Reds.
Right.
Yeah. What do we do in a 3-way tie? 3-tie, all tie, and just.
Club with the highest winning percentage. This is according to Paul Hagen's MLB.com story. Please make sure you're taking notes. If all 3 teams have identical records against one another, club with the highest winning percentage among 3 tied clubs in intra-division games chooses its designation, followed by the team with the next highest winning percentage. If any 2 of the clubs have identical winning percentages, then the 2-club tiebreak rules will break that tie. Oh, man. Why did you ask?
Because our viewing public, they need to know.
I believe, isn't it with a 3-way tie, there's a possibility of, like, you have a choice of hosting 2, you win both, or playing on the road once, or something crazy like that.
Yeah, I remember that scenario being talked about in the past.
There's a 4-team tiebreaker scenario. Ball 4.
Reminds me of the old bit on Get Smart when Chief would go into a long explanation to Max, and Max would go, "Could you just? I missed that one part." What was that, Max? The part after you said, "Make sure you take good notes." And we'd have to go under the cone of silence.
Well, as convoluted as it is, I do think baseball likes it because it does create the kind of the NCAA tournament style
drama.
Week. Yeah, the drama.
One and done. I like it because I think it adds integrity to the division, to winning the division.
No doubt. And I like that they got rid of you can't play a division opponent in the first round.
I don't like that either. I'm with you on that. It's because I know we're talking to some people in Pittsburgh and they're like, it's so unfair. They finally get in and they could be eliminated in one game. Well, to me, that's what makes it fair. That there's value in winning the division.
1-1 on Darnell McDonald.
The wild card is like when your teacher gives you a hard test and they throw you that kind of a cookie, a bonus question at the end so you get your grade up a little bit. That's kind of what the wild card is. Still the big test is winning the division.
Tap foul. Nicely done. Next to the chairman. Two balls, 2 strikes. Foul tip. Strike 3. It's out number 2 here in the 8th. Bring up Murphy. He sent one deep to the warning track with the bases loaded in the 6th.
Club hitters had struck out once through 4 innings. Struck out 9 times since the 5th. I don't know what was more impressive tonight, Garrett Cole striking out the side in the 5th or the way he pitched after the bases were loaded in the 6th, including 2 big strikeouts. Pretty impressive stuff from the young right-hander.
A bat. Murphy bothered by that sore wrist. That's happened a handful of times now.
Auto up. Thankfully, everybody's okay down there. Have you ever stumbled across or sought out the website, The Physics of Baseball? Baseballphysics.illinois.edu. Alan M. Nathan, the University of Illinois.
It sounds familiar, but no.
Somehow I was bumping around and I ended up there today. It's pretty interesting reading. Getting into some pretty deep stuff in terms of trajectory of ball flight and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah. Did they do a thing on the Coors Field?
Yeah, he's
okay,
done stuff. Yeah, he's talked about the Coors effect and the humidor. But there's a GIF on there, and he talks about, and the only reason I thought of it is because Murphy let the bat fly. You've probably seen this, of Todd Frazier hitting a home run in which his top hand is off the bat and his bottom hand is leaving the bat. The bat's basically airborne as it makes contact with the ball, and he hit a home run, and he goes on to explain to me how grip isn't that impactful. And
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
will go foul past third.
Baseball.physics.illinois.edu.
I'm in.
Really smart people. Right, very interesting things that sometimes I can understand. Other times I just go, wow.
That's neat.
It's really something, and I wish I had the inclination, the time, and the talent to really dig in. But by golly, I'm going to get an Oreo and see what's on the Golf Channel.
Swing and a miss, and that will end the inning. We will go to the 9th. 8-2 Pirates. memorabilia collector in your family this offseason, visit Cubs.com/authentics to bid on weekly auction items, including MLB authenticated game-used baseballs, jerseys, bases, and much more. For more information, call 773-404-4753. Rookie Zach Rosscup, a left-hander, is in.
Russin, Raley, Lim, Parker, Cabrera preceded him. All with a mixed bag of results. Russin struggled. Raley was good. Lim struggled. Parker was good. Cabrera struggled. So following that pattern, Rosscup should have a good outing here as he works the ninth. Cabrera, 2 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, both earned, no walks, a strikeout. Parker, an inning in the third. All zeros, except for a couple of punch-outs. Farnsworth getting ready in the Pirate bullpen. Final home game of the year tomorrow afternoon.
Sanchez went after the high one, fouled it off. How's that reading light working out for you?
Awesome. It's good that I found it on the final night game of the year. It's all about making adjustments in this game. It must be because the fall gets darker earlier here, because I hadn't noticed it as much over the course of the season with the night games. But I was having a hard time reading my stuff here earlier. And I happened to find that in the back. That's going to be a staple next year.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. You're not going to go on Antique Roadshow?
I could. Maybe get a baseball-themed lamp. Maybe that would be the way to go.
We'll find out that lamp has been at Wrigley Field for 70 years, although it looks not that old. Used for sure. Necessarily decades old. Martin hits the first pitch on the ground to Murphy. 2 outs. Here comes Alvarez. I just got a text from Matt Bolts, the fine radio producer and engineer.
Are they still on the air?
Cubs radio. He was watching our monitor. I guess, they added some track lighting in their booth.
Oh.
So that's Ron Santos.
That's Ronnie's lamp?
That's Ronnie's lamp.
Man.
Yeah.
People
way more valuable than I thought.
Just people going to be sneaking up here trying to.
You could kind of see the lights. Right, if you look at Matt's head and the receding hairline, just to the right and up a little bit, you can see that light.
Ronnie didn't put his name on here.
No. Renly's line was always the piano bar is open when we get a shot of that lamp. Alvarez clubs this one out into deep right center. Bogusevic on the move to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the ninth. The Pirates lead the Cubs 8-2.
The Cardinals. Travis Wood gets the start for Chicago as the Cubs look to take down their rivals in enemy territory. Don't miss Cubs Cardinals Friday night at 7 on Comcast Sports Net.
So I ran over to radio just to talk about the lamp as former Cub Kyle Farnsworth will try to get the final 3 outs. And while I was over there, the great Pat Hughes asked me about your record-setting night, which was about 27 years ago. And the piece of paper he had September 24th. I said, well, it was September 23rd, 1986, when you struck out the first 8 batters of a game. And we came up with an idea. This is very unique. I gave it to them. So if you like it, unfortunately, I think the radio guys are going to use it. It's called Yesterday in Baseball History. So I believe they're talking about your great night, one night after the 27th anniversary. That's a good bit. Here's Bogusevic, the 1-0, fouled away. Everybody can do on this date in baseball history.
Or this random date in baseball history.
And do you remember the pitcher who had the hit? That was the other question Pat asked me.
They didn't. They pinch hit.
They did.
Hit. They didn't have a hit, but he broke the streak of strikeouts.
Oh, okay. Right. Caught by McCutcheon.
Yeah, it was Larry C. He pinch hit for the pitcher and popped up to second base.
Okay. Did you get to 2 strikes on him?
2-2, I believe.
Normally you'd be thrilled with a pop-up to the second baseman, but you had to be a little disappointed.
Well, because I felt like I used to throw a lot of high fastballs, and I felt like if I threw one up around his shoulders, he probably would have chased it. And I kind of got it down a little bit and he popped it up.
And that concludes yesterday
in
baseball. A lot of this is just for us, folks. We hope you enjoy it. But we do, and that's all that matters right now.
Ooh, you know what today?
What is today?
In baseball history? And we can talk about this tomorrow in our segment Yesterday in Baseball History.
Yeah.
Well, we can do it both days. That's the beauty of this concept.
Okay. Let me have it.
Tom Seaver's bid for no-hitter is again spoiled in the 9th by a little-known Cub batter. I remember Jimmy Qualls broke one up. This time it's Joel Wallace who lines a 2-out single in the 9th for Chicago's first hit.
Okay.
Joel Wallace.
Literally on this date, the Tigers clinched a playoff spot. 4-2 over the Twins. Magic number in the Central is 1. Bounced out in front of home plate to make it 2-2 on Watkins.
In 1979, Herman Franks resigned as Cubs manager on this date, replaced by Preston Gomez.
Take Sanchez right to first. 2 outs here in the 9th. So there is a way the Pirates could go to Cincinnati and lose 2 of 3 and still host the Reds. If the Pirates win tomorrow and the Reds lose tomorrow, they would go into that series with a 2-game lead. Otherwise, if it's tied or 1-game lead for the Pirates, whoever wins 2 of 3 in that Reds-Pirates series will be the host team in the wild card game. That is assuming the Cardinals win the division. Ground ball. That gets under the glove of Sanchez, and Sweeney is on with what probably will be his 3rd consecutive hit tonight. He didn't even start the game.
Sanchez maybe overplayed that one a little bit.
Bob Rosenberg calls it a hit. I think that's the right call. Now Castro, who's 2 out of 4 with an RBI. Two and 0. Farnsworth started the year with Tampa Bay. Signed a minor league deal in mid-August with the Pirates. After being released about a week before that by the Rays. 3-1. He walked him. Have you ever seen Clint Hurdle
not chewing gum?
In the dugout not chewing gum?
No,
I haven't.
No, my jaw kind of gets sore just watching him. Thinking about how hard that has worked tonight.
One strike to Junior Lake.
Junior, nothing for 3 tonight. He did draw a walk in the 6th.
And the Pirates win the final 8-2. And with the Reds losing tonight, they're now a game up for home field advantage in that wild card round. And they're still not done in the division. 2 games back of the Cardinals. And our GMC player of the game, the starter and the winner, Garrett Cole.
He lasted 6 innings, pitched effectively, and had a big hit early on, a 2-run single back in the second inning as the Pirates took a 3-0, then 4-0 lead. But, boy, his mound work really good. 6 innings, 7 hits, a couple of runs, walked 1, struck out 6. He really turned it on when the pressure was on, got some big strikeouts in that 6th inning. When the Cubs scored 1, had the bases loaded, their best chance to get back in it. And young Garrett Cole just slammed the door.
He's now a 10-game winner as he bests Chris Russin. So that'll wrap things up from the ballpark for JD and our entire crew. I'm Len Casper. 8-2 Pirates, your final. We're back with you here on the CSN Friday night at 7 from St. Louis, Cubs and Cards. And up next, Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live.